I don't know if you guys can really see behind me, but I have a bunch of cameras behind me. I have cameras in my bedroom, cameras over there, cameras in my bag. Like there's always a camera on me or somewhat near me. And I'm not talking about iPhone. I'm talking about like actual SLR, DSLR, mirrorless, not so much. I don't know why I just don't really mess with them that much. But yeah, I love cameras and I love buying used cameras. I think it's one of the best ways to gather up gear, whether it's cameras, lenses, filters, tripods, accessories, anything photo related. I strongly recommend anyone, especially those getting into it, to buy used because you can save a couple $100. But yeah, I think buying used camera gear is really the way to go. So I just really want to make a quick video to kind of go over things to look out for, safety tips, things like that. Because I've bought quite a few cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe like 20 to 30 cameras used. The only camera I've ever gotten new was this little DSLR right here. My mom got this for me back in like high school. And this really like set me into photography. But for those of you that are looking into getting it, you have your own money, but you don't want to drop like $2,000 for something that you don't even know if you're interested in. This video is going to kind of be here to guide you through things to look out for, people to avoid, and things like that. Okay, so this is a giant broad alert. Whenever you're buying anything used, whether it's off of OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Mercari, maybe I've never used that one, but whatever venue you're using to buy used, just always be safe. This goes for anything you're buying. You're buying furniture, you're buying cameras, you're buying wheels for a car. Whatever you're buying, make sure you are safe. If someone tells you that they can only meet up at 10 p.m. at night at some like crazy sketchy park, like do not go. Like that dude is gonna rob you. Like straight up, do not go. Even if it's like a crazy good deal, like it is not worth the risk. Like I don't know, dude. Just don't even take the risk. So that's my general warning for all people buying anything used. Another really broad tip, just whenever you're buying anything used, see if you can bring someone with you or meet up in a public place. They tell you these things on the apps, but just again, a reminder, if you have a friend that can go with you, family member, or if you can't go with anyone, just meet up somewhere public. Like go to a Walmart shopping center thing. Oh my gosh. Walmart food court. That's what I was looking for. Go to that. Go to a police station. Go to a Starbucks. I've done a lot of Starbucks transactions where we go inside and I feel a lot more safe because I'm like, all right, if this dude tries anything shady, like at least the barista making minimum wage will see it and maybe call the cops. I don't know. But anyways, all right, let's go into the actual photo gear related tips. There's websites like MPB, KEH, eBay is kind of iffy, but I would say MPB and KEH are kind of the go-to places to look for used gear. If you want somewhere that's going to give you a warranty, more pictures, more information, and they're more curated towards photo gear, I would say use MPB or KEH. I think they have a return policy. I don't really know. They're not sponsoring this video. This video is not sponsored. Unless you guys want to sponsor it, you guys could sponsor me. But yeah, I would highly recommend going on their websites. And also this kind of website, MPKH, they will kind of give you a guideline of what you can expect to pay for, let's say, a camera. So for this example, let's say when I bought my Nikon D850, I went on KEH. I think on KEH MPB, it was like 1,700 used. So I kind of knew, okay, I was going to probably spend like 1,700, give or take, maybe less, maybe more, depending on the condition, what's included, things like that. So I would say just check those websites for whatever camera you want, and that'll kind of give you a ballpark of what you can expect to pay for this used gear. Tip number 2, this goes for really anything you're buying used, but always buy from reputable sellers or someone that can give you a lot of information. So if someone posts just one picture of a camera, it's just top down, blurry picture, the flash is on, you can't see anything. You know, like you don't really want to buy from them. If they have like 2-star rating out of 5 stars, they're probably not someone you want to buy from either. So this kind of leads into the next tip. Tip number 3 being information. So if someone's selling a camera, there's a lot of things you can look for in the pictures and the description. So in the pictures, just look at the general condition. Make sure there's no scratches, dents, dings, whatever you want to call them, things like that. Check the overall condition of the camera, see if it looks new, see if it looks used and abused. If they provide the information or if you can ask them what they were doing. Some photographers with their gear, they're strictly in studio. So it'd be like this kind of environment, indoors, very controlled. You don't have to worry about rain or dust maybe getting on the camera, it's going to be a very nice environment to buy someone or to buy that gear used from, I should say. If you ask someone what this gear was used for and they were like, oh yeah, I took it across the globe, it was literally on my side the entire time, and the pictures show that, it's all beat up, you can try and ask them, hey, can I get $100 off, $200 off, because it's obviously very well used. This also goes down to personal preference. Some people want their gear to look pristine, like it was just fresh out of the box. Other people are like, dude, if it works, it works. It's kind of like a car, Some people want their car to be perfect front to rear, no scratches, no dents. Other people are like, dude, it gets me point A to point B securely, safely. That's all that matters, right? Some other things you can look for in the pictures or description is shutter count. So every camera, funny enough, also like a car, every camera has what's called shutter count. So every time you press the little shutter button on a camera, or at least digital camera, it'll tell you how many pictures have been taken on that camera body. If you Google, maybe check the warranty, or not the warranty, but the manual of the camera, it should say what its estimated shutter life will be. So for example, the D850 I was talking about earlier, I think the shutter count life expectancy is at 200,000 or 300,000 equitations. So it's kind of like a car, right? A car's engine is only meant to last, let's say, 200,000 miles. So you have to start replacing parts, replacing engine, all that stuff. So that's something you can ask for. If they say they can't provide it, it is crazy easy. Some cameras, you just plug the SD card into the computer, and if you just right click on a file, it'll tell you. But there's websites, I'll link some down in the description, where you take a picture, upload it to the website, and then it'll tell you, because it has metadata from the camera rate, it'll tell you, this camera's taken 50,000 pictures. And some websites even link to eBay saying, camera with this same exact shutter count, this is how much it's going to cost you. So the next set of tips after you kind of look at the pictures, look at the description, you think everything looks good, right? We're going to kind of go into a, demo of how to test out cameras, things to look for, and I'm going to just kind of talk over it and things like that. So like I mentioned earlier, you just kind of want to look for any major dings, dents, or scratches on the body. Make sure the camera actually turns on. If they cannot provide you a battery to test it, I would just recommend going to a website like Wasabi Power. You can buy a third-party battery for pretty cheap and test it out like that. Also bring an SD card. Make sure that the camera is actually taking and writing files properly, and make sure the SD cards go in and eject properly. On my D750 that I'm filming with right now, that camera, I got an SD card break inside of it, and it was like a $300 fix to fix just the SD card slot. So you want to make sure that everything on that end is good. Once the camera's on, I would say test the autofocus, manual focus, live view, things like that. Go ahead and press the shutter, make sure everything sounds good, no funky noises. If you don't know what the camera should sound like, there's probably a video on it where someone's just, pressing the shutter a whole bunch. So you can kind of make sure that it sounds similar to that video. Ooh, and guys, really quick, not related to DSLRs, but related to small digicams like this. These things are popping up in popularity. Hopefully it's in focus. But these little digicams are popping up in popularity. Popping up in popularity. That doesn't sound right. Anyways, they're trending. They're trendy. These things, like I mentioned earlier, you can buy a battery from a company like Wasabi Power. I think this might be one of those. Yeah. Shout out Wasabi. Trust them. They're very good. Anyways, a lot of these old digicams, they have the lenses that go in and out, right? This little thing. So when I press the power on this one, the camera makes a little ding, but it doesn't turn on. So with old cameras like this, sometimes you have to literally press the power button. Kind of bad, but grab the lens and then press it again. Let's see if it does it. But yeah, basically just look out for lenses that go in and out, kind of like that. This camera I can get to turn on, but like I said, you have to literally pull it to turn it on. So if someone's selling you an old digicam like this, I would highly recommend testing for that. It's probably one of the biggest faults about these old like Y2K style cameras. Also, another thing about old digicams is some of them have some super alien old tech like batteries. Like this one, like what is this, bro? Like literally the positive terminal is right here, negative terminal is right here. There's no way you're gonna charge this thing, right? Unless you like jerry rigged some super sketchy charger, right? And a lot of companies don't sell these batteries because like who's looking for this kind of battery, right? Some old digicams like this, you can actually power them using a PSP portable charger adapter thing. So you get a power bank and it goes USB to like a 5-volt DC in, like on here. So that's just another option to test it out or see if it actually works. Something else too about digicams is the SD cards in them. Look, this thing is 16 megabytes, right? The files from this camera are crazy small, but digicams cannot take, some digicams I should say, can't take SDXC or SDHC style cards. They can only take just regular SD cards. So that's the thing else to look out for. You can't buy like a 1 terabyte SD card, throw it in here, and the camera's not gonna know what to do. It's gonna be like, bro, what is this? I'm old. I can't read that. So with film cameras, you can't really test out the images, whereas you can with a digital camera, you just throw in an SD card. So with film cameras, I would say the most important thing to look out for is the shutter. Make sure the shutter actually fires. Check the speeds, check the accuracy. If you put it at like 1/500th of a second, and then you go to put it at 1/4 of a second, and they sound pretty similar, and it looks pretty similar in terms of how long they're open for, there might be something wrong with the shutter or mirror mechanism. And really quick, guys, for lenses, just twist everything on it. Make sure everything feels good. It's not, getting all, what's the word I'm looking for, like kind of like rocky kind of feeling or like bumpy. And just look at both front and back of the glass. Make sure everything's good like that. If you have a body that's already compatible with the lens, just bring your camera body, plug it into your camera, make sure it fires correctly, autofocus is good. I hope this video wasn't too chaotic, too much information, or too sporadic. And I hope you guys are able to actually get some useful tips for buying used camera gear. I think photography is something that everyone should try and get into. I think it's super fun. It can be a little intimidating because the cost of entry, like you don't want to drop $1,000 and then end up not liking it. So that's why, like I said, I think buying used gear is just like the best route to go. Even if you consider yourself like a pro, I don't think there's anything wrong with buying used gear. I do weddings and stuff, and I've been using used gear for like 5+ years, and I've never had a piece of gear like fail on me. You just have to be careful when you're buying stuff, and just buy from trusty people that aren't gonna try and do you dirty, With all that being said, if you guys have any questions, if you want to hit me up on Instagram, I'll link it somewhere in the description, or just follow me at xamfam. If you guys were subscribers before, I rebranded my whole channel. If you look at my old videos and you're new here, I call myself Danish. I don't know why. Ever since like middle school, I just always called myself Danish. That was just my gamer tag for everything. But yeah, so hopefully this video is helpful, guys. Like I said, hit me up on Instagram, hit me in the comments. I plan on making more camera content and photo related content soon. So if you want a more photo based content creator, I'm your guy. Yippee! All right. Bye, guys.